Hello and welcome to Scream Theory. In this video, I want to show you some skills and some exercises to help you attain these skills that will make learning to fry scream a lot easier. Many people spend weeks, months, and even years trying to learn to fry scream and don't really make any progress. If you feel like this is you, then stop practicing fry screaming, at least for right now, and just focus on working on these skills. In a month or 2 months, pick it back up again and see if you have any more success. Now, I want to make it clear that just because a person possesses these skills won't make them automatically able to fry scream, but when you go and watch a video of like someone explaining to try this thing that might help you figure it out, and I'm guilty of making videos like that too, well, it'll improve your chances of actually being successful with that type of thing. Imagine if you were lost in a forest and you had to get somewhere, but you don't have a compass, you don't have a direction of where you're trying to go. You're probably never going to find your destination, but imagine you did have a compass and you did have a general direction of your destination. You'll probably find it, it may just take you some time. So let's start with the first skill, and you guessed it, it's proper breathing technique, but I'm not going to waste any time on this because you've probably heard this from a million different other places. If you're still confused about what proper breathing technique entails, what is mechanically going on, what muscles you need to engage to perform it correctly, well, check out my 4-phase guide to false chord screaming, part 1. It's in the first 3 minutes of that video. The link is in the description. The next skill is being able to sing very softly and control the muscles in the vocal cords very precisely. Beginners typically don't have this skill, and even people who have been practicing singing for a long time, depending on what techniques they've been practicing and what singing styles they do, may not have this skill either. If you're a singer and you like heavy metal music, there's a good chance you've learned to sing with a lot of power and volume in your voice. Well, when you use that much airflow to make the voice loud and make the vocal cords vibrate with a lot of energy, the muscles in the larynx have to work harder to stabilize the vocal cords, hold them in a position where they can hit whatever notes you're trying to hit against all that air rushing through them. So the muscle activity in the vocal cords is a lot greater than with soft singing, and we need that subtle control with the vocal cords relaxed, being able to just precisely contract the muscles in the vocal cords and the larynx in order to control the positioning of the vocal cords. Furthermore, with soft singing, we need to practice hitting different notes. And it doesn't matter if you can actually hit those notes. What really matters is that you're just practicing changing the pitch. Because when we change the pitch of our voice, we're using certain muscles in the vocal cords that lengthen them and certain muscles that shorten them. And once again, while the vocal cords are vibrating in a very relaxed way, we're using less muscle activity than if we were singing with loudness and power. And it's that subtle, fine, precise contractions of those muscles that will develop the control we need for fry screaming. So you can literally just practice any singing exercises, but in a soft kind of airbrushed way like this. But what I recommend is trying to find singers and artists who perform soft singing, and there's a good chance that this is not going to be metal music at all. Some of the best control I've gained over my vocal cords is practicing to singers who aren't metal vocalists, who just perform really nice, controlled soft singing.
Now of all the mad people, that guy was the maddest. He pulled a bone across his throat and he pointed right at us. 10 years on the lam from that skeletal man. He swore his revenge. We heard his sinister plan. He'll string us up by our hands and lift us over a vat and dip us up to our elbows in the boiling fat. It's like an eye for an eye, but 99 times worse. He wants to do to us what we did to him. It's set in reverse.
The next skill we need is the ability to project our voice using supported airflow, finding a positioning of our mouth and our throat that allows those sound waves to just naturally amplify using the acoustics of how we're shaping everything. Learning this skill is important for any vocalist because it teaches you how to make your voice sound loud and carry well without over-stressing the true chords. If you're a singer and you've been practicing singing for a long time, there's a good chance you already know how to project your voice, but still try this exercise I'm about to show you.
Hey! Whoa! Hey! Hey!
Really focus on that rising up, where you eventually reach the peak where your voice is really projecting well, and then you fall back down gradually. The next skill is a combination of the previous two skills. We need to learn how to project our soft voice. So this is really all about just trying to make our voice as loud as we can while keeping the vocal cords as relaxed as we can.
Oh, 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 oh. Oh, oh, oh.
Also, practice this exercise at a higher pitch in your falsetto range.
Ah, ah, oh, oh, oh.
The next skill we need is figuring out how to produce the fry screaming distortion and learning what the correct positioning of the vocal cords is to produce that sound. Whenever I teach this to people, I first want them to learn it in a very low effort, low volume, soft way, rather than just throwing yourself into a full power fry scream without first having that technique and knowing what that correct positioning is. It's a lot safer to learn it in this softer way. Oftentimes, people will just try to perform vocal fry, the clicking sound, and they'll try to make that louder. They might bear down a little bit and perform the Valsalva maneuver, like, it's not that. Don't think about it as trying to add something to your voice. Think about it like you're trying to take something away from your voice. You really just want to relax into it. So start on a hum. Just hum and then gradually relax as much as you can. Try to take away the vibrations of the vocal cords to the point of where they start to naturally perform the clicking fry sound on their own. It'll almost sound like you've kind of blended that low hum with the clicking sounds of vocal fry. The next skill we need is being able to produce this very whiny sound in our falsetto voice. You may have seen fry screaming tutorials where people say just kind of talk like a cartoon character, like a high-pitched, whiny cartoon character. This is what they mean. And you can think about it like performing a vocal break, but really it's something different. It's its own thing, because you can also perform this at different pitches as well. I think about it kind of like the singing style of 80s glam metal singers. It's this high-pitched, whiny, raspy sound in your voice. It kind of reminds me of the sound of like deflating a balloon.
Ow! Ah! Ah! Ow! 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 Ah! Ow! Ah! Wah! Wow!
And then once we have all of these skills, really the only thing left to do is to take that high-pitched, whiny, raspy sound and try to transition into the positioning of the soft fry scream. But we're going to be having a lot more energy in the vocal cords. We're going to be doing it a lot louder. So it may be kind of tricky. It may not feel exactly like the soft fry screaming positioning. I think about it more like I'm performing the whiny, raspy sound and I'm like amping up on the rasp. I'm really leaning into that sound a lot more.
Ow! Ow!
And what I hope you gained from listening to that last recording is realizing just how subtle of a transition it is. We shouldn't be trying to force it to happen. We shouldn't feel like we're squeezing or bearing down or producing a lot of tension and contraction in our vocal cord muscles. But to make the fry scream sound loud and powerful and produce the distortion at higher volumes, it's the same way that we make our voice loud and powerful when we sing. We have to keep the vocal cords relaxed, we have to give them airflow, and the vocal cords have to be vibrating with a bit of energy to produce sounds at that higher volume. We can't just try to squeeze and stifle the vibrations by going like, ah! That's not going to work. But just try practicing these skills. Don't even focus on trying to fry scream. Just focus on these for a few weeks and then pick it back up again. Hopefully you'll have some better success. Hopefully these skills will teach you something about using your voice in a way that is more conducive to fry screaming. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you like the way I teach metal vocals and you want to support my channel, well, please comment, give a thumbs up, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. See you all in the next one.